Think about your favorite characters from movies and TV shows. Sure, you've got your heroes, your Harry Potters and Supermans. They're the good guys, the ones we're supposed to root for. But let's be honest, who are the characters we really can't get enough of? The ones we write fan fiction about. The ones who get all the best lines. The ones who just feel cooler. Chances are it's the villains. From the charismatic mastermind to the misunderstood tragic figure, our fascination with villains is a lot more than just rooting for the bad guy. It's a deep dive into our own psychology, a clever narrative trick, and in digital age, a way to connect with a global community. So today, we're asking the big question: why do we love villains so much? Let's start with the most uncomfortable reason. Villains are a mirror. Psychoanalyst Carl Jung called it the shadow self, that hidden dark part of our personality. We all have it. It's the part of you that feels a little greedy, wants a little revenge, or craves power. Most of us, don't act on these impulses. We've got social norms and moral codes to follow. But when we watch a villain, we get to safely explore all of that stuff. Think of it as a guilt-free playground for your dark side. You can live vicariously through characters who embrace their ambition and selfishness without any of the real-world consequences. And on a more primal level, our brains are hardwired to pay attention to potential threats. It's an evolutionary thing. Our ancestors who paid closer attention to the untrustworthy guy in the cave were the ones that survived. That same instinct makes us pay more careful attention to a villain's every move. We're watching them, analyzing them, and that heightened state of engagement can feel a lot like admiration. But the most fascinating part? We're actually programmed to believe that villains have a hidden good side. A University of Michigan study found that both kids and adults are most likely to think a villain has some sort of inner goodness than they are to believe a hero has a secret darkness. This perception of complexity, that villain isn't purely evil, makes them more relatable. It's a lot like real people who aren't all good or all bad. This is the psychological groundwork for why we're so drawn to these characters. But how do writers actually pull it off? The simple good versus evil story is a thing of the past. Modern writers know that moral ambiguity is where the magic happens. They use a few key techniques to make villains and anti-heroes compelling. First, the sympathetic backstory. Many of the best villains were once good people, driven to a dark path by relatable experiences like trauma or oppression. Think of Magneto from the X-Men. He's a survivor of genocide, and his entire crusade is about protecting his people. Is he a villain? Yeah, he commits horrible acts. But his reasons are understandable, forcing us to ask, what would I do?
You see, I think what you really are afraid of is me. Me and my kind. The Brotherhood of Mutants. Oh, it's not so surprising, really. Mankind has always feared what it doesn't understand. Well, don't fear God, Senator, and certainly don't fear me. Not anymore.
Next, a logical philosophy. The most compelling villains don't think they're the bad guy. They believe they are the hero of their own story. Thanos, for example, truly believed that wiping out half the universe would save it from overpopulation. When he lays out his philosophy, you find yourself nodding along, even if you know his actions are monstrous. Finally, let's talk about the charm factor. Let's face it, villains get the best outfits, the best dialogue, and the most dramatic entrances. Unburdened by the need to be a moral compass, they get to be unpredictable and exciting. This charisma, combined with their moral freedom, makes them appear cooler and more fun than their do-gooder counterparts. This brings us to our ultimate case study, Walter White from Breaking Bad. Walter White's journey from a meek high school teacher to a drug kingpin is a masterclass in moral ambiguity. Initially, we're on his side. He's got a cancer diagnosis and wants to provide for his family. He's an underdog. But as the show goes on, his true motivations are revealed. His pride and desire for power consume him, turning him from a pitiable protagonist into a selfish monster. The final scene where he confesses, "I did it for me. I liked it. I was good at it. And I was alive," is a gut punch.
Skylar. All the things that I did. You need to understand.
I have to hear one more time that you did this for the family.
I did it for me. I liked it. I was good at it. And I was really I was alive.
It makes his descent feel earned and terrifyingly real. But here's a fascinating twist. The way we watch the story matters. When Breaking Bad originally aired, it was a weekly show. We had 7 days between episodes to process what Walter did, to justify his actions, and to forget the terrible things he had done. But for modern viewers who binge watch the show in a single weekend, his moral decay is a rapid fire, in-your-face experience. This creates a generational divide with new audiences often asking, why did anyone ever root for this guy? It proves that how we consume media can completely change our moral judgment. Now, let's talk about how the internet supercharged this obsession. Platforms like Reddit, Tumblr, and TikTok have transformed media consumption from a passive act into a collaborative experience. We don't just watch a show, we become co-authors. Take Scar from The Lion King. He was a simple villain driven by jealousy. But the internet community has added layers to his story, from the idea that he wasn't biologically related to Mufasa, a fan theory later confirmed by the director, to recontextualizing his villainy as a political struggle. This collective storytelling is an act of audience empowerment. To get to fill in the gaps and turn one-dimensional characters into subjects of dynamic, ongoing debate. But the obsession with villains isn't just about deep psychological analysis. It's also about aesthetics. The internet has given us villain core, an aesthetic movement that celebrates the style and tropes of villainy. It detaches a villain's actions from their moral context and frames them as cool aspirational qualities like the intelligence of a mad scientist or the loyalty of a henchman. This shift from psychological identification to aesthetic admiration is a defining characteristic of some online fandoms. This fascination with moral ambiguity has now moved from fiction into real world, giving us the YouTube anti-hero. These creators operate in a moral gray area, where their public personas blending heroic actions with controversial behaviors. Take someone like Mr. Beast. On one hand, he's a hero who funds charitable acts like curing blindness and building wells. But on the other, critics argue these are self-serving content acts that profit from vulnerable people. It mirrors the arc of Walter White. Was Walter's initial motivation to provide for his family truly noble, or a front for his deeper desire for power? This is a new moral landscape. We're not just consuming a narrative, we're part of it, debating and judging, and in some cases, demanding accountability from real people in real time. The internet's obsession with villains isn't a fad. It's a symptom of a broader shift in what we expect from our media. We're no longer content with a simple black and white moral universe. We want characters that reflect the complexity, flaws, and ambiguity of real people. Whether we're engaging in deep intellectual debates on Reddit or simply celebrating the aesthetics of villainy on TikTok, our fascination with the dark side is not a sign of a society in decline. It's an indication of a more mature, critically engaged audience that seeks to understand the gray areas of the world, one villain at a time. Now, what's your favorite villain and why? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!